What's going on, guys? We're back. Cardscore. You ever heard of Cardscore? Came across it. Someone was talking about it in our Discord and decided to have a look at it. And I'm going to play this little explainer video here. I think it's well worth the watch, and it'll sort of give some insight in terms of what it is. But I think it's a really interesting idea. But let's take a look at this.
This is Cardscore. It's incredible new technology that you're going to start seeing at card stores across the country. It's a new company that is decentralizing the grading process, putting power in the hands of collectors, and it's going to completely change the way the process works. No mailing in your cards, no waiting months and months to get your grade back, no excessive costs. All you have to do is go into a card store with one of these kiosks and scan the card in to have it graded. The base level is $16 and you get your results in a couple days. This is the first time they're accepting raw card submissions, and here's how it works. You connect your phone to the scanner using a QR code on the kiosk. The kiosk has a patent-pending score key device built in, which is what allows your phone to talk to the scanner and also sends the image securely to the app, without the potential for manipulation. This is a raw card template. Right now, it just fits a standard size card, and you can only do one at a time. But soon, you're going to be able to scan 9 cards in at once, and eventually be able to purchase the tech yourself, so you can submit cards from home. The raw card is placed face down in the scanner. Once it's centered in the template, initiate the scan on your phone. It takes a couple of minutes per side because it scans at an incredibly high resolution, so the card can be fairly evaluated. After scanning of the front is complete, review the scan and flip the card over. It's very easy to do this with a penny sleeve. Scan the back of the card. Once the scan is complete, fill out the card's information and press Save. The scanned card is then saved in a section called My Cards, which only the card owner can see. Click the card that you wish to submit and press Submit for scoring. Once that's done, your card will be available to be scored by the Cardscore community of collectors.
So there it is. That's Cardscore. It's a pretty interesting idea. I guess one of the first things that I think about is the sort of utility that it provides. So, why would you use this? You're essentially letting others pre-grade your cards for you is what's happening. Typically when you use big groups and you crowdsource data like this, it's actually generally a pretty good way to gather information. However, let's keep going with the process. I'm going to show you because I signed up here a couple weeks back on Cardscore to grade cards. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like from that point on. So I can go ahead here and grade cards. And I hope the Gretzky rookie is still here because, we're hockey. First thing I'll look at here too, it's really interesting. So we have my email there. And we can view my balance. So I've made 42 cents grading cards. And I think I've graded about maybe 4 of them. So, maybe it's somewhere around 10 cents per card. But we'll take a look at this Wayne Gretzky, and we're going to go ahead and give this a score. So there's a bunch of questions that I have with this. we'll do it together. We'll just go over everything. So normally I think they have this set up to do on your phone where you can just pinch and zoom, because a lot of it is giving me that information. The first problem I had was not being able to zoom in close enough, but I sort of figured that out. So let's take a look now though, and we'll grade this together. Well, I mean, I'll be grading it, but I'll show you what the process looks like. So we can take a look at this Gretzky. Take a look at the card centering. Centering looks pretty decent for a Gretzky rookie. Take a look at the back. Slightly on the front from top to bottom, and slightly left to right. But overall, okay centering there. On the back, not so bad either. Looks pretty good. But so how do we score this now? So we just have to use sort of arbitrary measures, like what do I think this is for a score? This is something that has problems too. The Oilers within this logo, and that's centered like reasonably well. It's slightly off, you can see here. But so what sort of grade do we give this? Maybe I'll give this. I mean, what do you guys think? This is one of the interesting things. Like I think that's maybe I don't know. Is it a 74? 72? I mean, it's decent for Gretzky, maybe high 60s. I think high 60s to low 70s. Maybe we'll go 67. This is what people are going to have to do, because there's no way to go on here and take a look at like how I should be grading what falls where. We'll take a look at the corners now. I'm not a grader. I just know what I see, and I certainly know nothing about vintage. So we can zoom in on the corner here, and you see it zooms in like pretty well. We can see obviously this damage here, corner, pretty soft, no big deal. Got some edge wear right there. We'll zoom in closer on this corner, and so, softening there, more edge damage. And, these Gretzky rookies obviously aren't cut wonderfully, but like more soft corner. Edge actually looks pretty decent here. You have some stuff going on here. You have some surface stuff here. And these are the things that just lead me to think, well, okay, so how am I going to grade this card? That's on the surface, so we're not going to grade that with the corner. And we'll take a look at the back corners. That back corner looks a lot better than the front one for sure. Likely just because there's less coloring, but you can see, you can zoom in pretty good. That's as far as I can zoom. I can't zoom any closer than that. So what do you guys give these corners? We'll take a look at these last two. And I'm with you. Like there's no right or wrong here, right? Like obviously the idea is that the crowd's going to figure out what the number is, and what do I put these corners at? Do I put them at about say in the 40s? Do you put it in the 50s? Like, because I know they're not great, but they're decent for a Gretzky. So do you score a modern differently than you score a vintage? Obviously the premise is that the crowd will filter that out, because they're going to remove, I'd imagine, the top and remove the bottom, and they'll have sort of a median score that they'll come to. What do we give these corners? Let's go with, I don't know, a 35? 30? Does that seem high? We'll go with the 32. Maybe a bit lower. That seems a bit 20s. Well, 20s would be like totally round, maybe. I don't know. We'll go with the mid 30s. And okay, so we'll confirm that as the corners. Then we'll take a look at the edges, and we already had a look at some of them with some of the damage on the edges. That top edge doesn't look so bad. I assume this is surface stuff. One of the things that I noticed with some of the other images, like here's a hair, I think, but like, is this surface damage? Is this damage here on the card, or is that the top loader? On the modern cards, it's really hard to tell. I did a Mike Trout modern, some sort of Topps Chrome card, and it was really hard to tell. So we have more edge wear here, some damage to the edge. You get the idea. What are we going to grade this for edges? These back edges look pretty reasonable. more of the damage you're going to find is on the front, I would imagine, with these, just because the ink and the coloring. So what do we give these edges? Like a 40, a 60, you know, maybe not higher than a 70, obviously, a 60, you know, say mid 40s. I mean, we're guessing, right? Like, so this is what you're paying other people to do. And then what do you do with this information? But this is the one that I have a real problem with, is the surface. So this is really obvious, but like I said, on modern cards, you can't tell what is surface damage. Like this stuff here, is that pixelation? Is that damage? The modern cards, it's just really hard to tell because there's a lot of hairs and stuff. They actually aren't showing up on this card very well compared to the others that I saw. You know, we got a little missing piece there. You know, not a bad looking Gretzky at all. But how do I grade it? I have no idea. I'm just doing what they're asking me. You know, take a look at it and then grade it. You know, the surface back here, you know, you have a little blemish there. Can zoom right in. This is as close as I can zoom if I really want to see something. So, like, what sort of deduction am I giving for that? Anyways, interesting platform. So we'll go ahead and give this surface a 43. Does that seem a bit high? I don't think so. I mean, maybe a 46, like pretty reasonable. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm this, and then we can go ahead and submit the score. So we submitted the score, and the score is a 48 overall, and then I can go on to score the next card. But just a really interesting tool to use crowdsourcing for grading a card. Again, I'm just curious about the utility behind it. I would imagine in the future that they want to get into grading themselves. I don't know if they would have crowdsource grading or how it works. I believe what they want to do is they want to be able to put a sticker on it where the crowd has given it. Let's say you have a gem mint card that is scored 98 by the community. You can put a 98 in there, and the thought is that could possibly bring extra value to the card. Will that come to fruition? Like, I have no idea. I wouldn't make too much of that. But anyways, I haven't seen anybody else do videos on this, so I thought it would be interesting to point out. I think it's likely going to grow. Even on their YouTube channel, they only have 92 subscribers, so people aren't really onto the Cardscore thing yet, even though they've had, a decent amount of views, 1,100 views on their explainer. But 92 subscribers, I don't know, guys. That's Cardscore. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment. Like, what do you think of this whole platform? Is it something you would use? Do you see utility in it? Do you think it's something, where would you expect the growth to come from? But I have a lot of questions about this. I just wanted to show it and show what the grading process looked like. There you go. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let me know. We'll check you.